The 10 worst fast food chains in America. Fasten your seatbelts and maybe grab a barf bag because we're about to count down the 10 worst fast food chains in the U.S. right now. These places aren't just a little bad. They're epic disasters plagued by revolting health violations, customer horror stories, financial meltdowns, and scandal after scandal. By the end of this list, you'll be questioning why these chains even still exist. This is a fast food nightmare, and it's unfolding in 2025. Let's dive in, if you dare. Giscianta Papa John's. Papa John's was once known for better ingredients, but today it's known for better scandals. The pizza chain's founder, John Schnatter, famously torpedoed the brand with an ugly racist outburst. He dropped a vile racial slur on a company conference call in 2018. The backlash was instant and ferocious. Papa John's name was stripped off a football stadium, MLB cut a promotion deal, and Schnatter was forced to resign in disgrace. The brand's reputation was burned to a crisp, and the fallout hit sales hard. After the scandal, Papa John's sales plunged nearly 10% in one quarter, a massive collapse that had executives in full panic mode. The stock hit an all-time low, franchisees were livid, and there was talk of selling the company outright. All this because the company's own founder poisoned the brand with hatred. Customers haven't forgotten either. Many boycotted Papa John's, flooding social media with disgust at the company's leadership. Even years later, Schnatter keeps haunting the brand, popping up in interviews ranting that he ate 40 pizzas in 30 days and that Papa John's pizza has gone downhill since he left. It's a circus of negativity. Let's not kid ourselves about the pizza either. A large Papa John's pie can top 3,000 calories and is loaded with sodium and fat, basically a one-way ticket to Heartburn City. They like to say, better ingredients, better pizza. But the only thing better is to avoid this chain entirely. With its leadership scandals, slumping finances, and unhealthy food, Papa John's has earned a spot as one of America's worst. Think twice before you dial them up for delivery. It might come with an extra topping of controversy. 9. Arby's, we have the meats, and much worse. Arby's has the meats, and apparently the rats, the pee, and the corpses too. This chain's recent headlines are the stuff of absolute horror. In 2022, an Arby's manager in Washington state was caught on camera urinating into the milkshake mix. Yes, literally pissing in the shakes. He admitted to doing it at least twice, and horrifyingly, he didn't throw the tainted mix out. That means up to 30 or 40 unwitting customers drank his urine in their Arby's shakes. This is beyond disgusting. It's a criminal health violation that left people gagging and the police investigating. Arby's corporate PR must have had a meltdown. How do you convince people to ever buy a Jamocha shake again after they imagine it might be someone's literal toilet? If that's not enough to turn your stomach, how about a death in the restaurant? In May 2023, a 63-year-old Arby's general manager became trapped in a walk-in freezer and froze to death in Louisiana. She beat her hands bloody trying to escape, but the emergency door alarm had been intentionally disabled. Her own son, also an Arby's employee, found her curled up on the floor, frozen solid. Now the family is suing Arby's for gross negligence, alleging the freezer latch had been broken for months and corporate did nothing. They used screwdrivers and even cans of oil to prop the freezer open instead of fixing it. This poor woman suffered a torturous death because Arby's failed at basic safety. It's a chilling, literally reminder of how little some chains value their workers' lives. Between serving urine milkshakes and letting managers freeze to death on the job, Arby's has cemented itself as one of the most nightmarish fast food chains in America. Customer trust? Obliterated. Employee morale? Likely in the gutter. And on top of it all, Arby's food isn't doing your health any favors either. Their roast beef sandwiches pack sky-high sodium, and their menu is a coronary waiting to happen. Remember the Meat Mountain sandwich? A pile of every meat they have. It's an artery clogger in one bun. If you're still brave enough to eat at Arby's, you have been warned. The horror stories are real. Arby's has the meats, and a whole lot of revolting issues to go with them. Avoid this place like the plague unless you want a side of urine with your curly fries or a legal drama with your lunch. 8. Wendy's E. coli in your salad, anyone? Wendy's likes to boast about its fresh beef and sassy Twitter account, but none of that matters when your burger sent over 100 people to the hospital. In 2022, Wendy's was at the center of a massive E. coli outbreak that sickened at least 109 people across 6 states. This was no minor tummy ache situation. 52 victims were hospitalized and 13 developed hemolytic uremic syndrome, a form of acute kidney failure. People were literally experiencing kidney failure after eating what they thought was a harmless fast food burger. Talk about a real-life nightmare. Health investigators traced the likely culprit to contaminated romaine lettuce on Wendy's sandwiches. Over 8 in 10 sick patients had eaten at Wendy's before falling ill. Wendy's response? They quietly removed romaine lettuce in that region as a precaution. Gee, you think? Maybe don't serve filthy, bacteria-laden lettuce to customers in the first place. This isn't the first time Wendy's has made grotesque headlines. The chain has been meme-famous since the finger in the chili incident years ago. A customer claimed to find a severed finger in her Wendy's chili. It turned out to be a fraud and a planted finger, but the damage to Wendy's image was done. Even though that was a hoax, it cemented Wendy's in our minds as the place with fingers in the food. Not exactly appetizing. Wendy's workers haven't had it great either. There are reports of managers behaving badly, like one franchise manager who was indicted for assaulting a customer with hot oil in 2021. And Wendy's has faced heat for labor practices. The company infamously didn't join the Fair Food Program to protect tomato farm workers from abuse, drawing boycotts from social justice groups. It seems good old-fashioned isn't in their values after all. Nutritionally, Wendy's is no saint either. One Wendy's Baconator burger packs about 950 calories and 62 grams of fat by itself. Add fries and a Frosty, and you've practically hit your calorie limit for the day. They even once offered a T-Rex burger, 9 patties, as a joke, which is just a heart attack on a bun. Between poisonous produce, past gross-outs, and caloric monstrosities, Wendy's has a lot to answer for. The next time you think about grabbing a fresh, never-frozen burger, remember the 100-plus people in the hospital and maybe choose a restaurant that won't potentially shut down your kidneys. Wendy's might have a witty tweet ready for its critics, but there's nothing funny about serving up foodborne illness. Steer clear for your own safety. 7. Taco Bell. Think outside the bun and the law. Taco Bell has long been a punchline about late-night munchies and dubious meat, but recent controversies push it from funny to flat-out frightening. For starters, Taco Bell had to recall a staggering 2.3 million pounds of seasoned beef in 2019 after a customer found a metal shaving in their menu item. You read that right. Metal shavings were ending up in people's tacos. Taco Bell's response was basically, "Oops, our bad, we'll throw out the meat." But how does 2 million pounds of beef possibly get contaminated with metal pieces before someone notices? This wasn't a tiny oops, it was a system-wide failure that could have injured or killed people if someone swallowed that sharp metal. Imagine biting into a taco and crunching on metal. Absolutely unacceptable. Taco Bell's ingredient quality has been under fire for years, and a notorious 2011 lawsuit really peeled back the curtain. An Alabama law firm tested Taco Bell's seasoned beef and claimed it was only 35% actual beef, with the rest being a bizarre concoction of water, oats, soy, maltodextrin, anti-dusting agents, and other fillers. Essentially, they alleged Taco Bell was serving dog food grade filler and calling it beef. Taco Bell fiercely denied the claim and the lawsuit was dropped, but not before the company's reputation took a hit. They even launched an ad campaign saying, "Thank you for suing us," just so they could loudly insist their tacos had 88% beef. But millions of customers were left thinking, what the hell have I been eating? Mystery meat jokes became real. Health-wise, Taco Bell can be a disaster for your body. Their menu is a sodium bomb, burritos and quesadillas loaded with salt and fat. One Nachos Bel Grande packs about 740 calories and 38 grams of fat, and that's just a side. If you grab a Mountain Dew Baja Blast and a couple of Doritos Locos Tacos, you're guzzling down a day's worth of salt. And don't forget the infamous Taco Bell emergency. Many joke that a trip to Taco Bell means a trip to the bathroom. There's truth in humor. Something in that food just doesn't sit right with a lot of people's stomachs, to put it politely. Taco Bell also had an E. coli scare of its own in the past. Back in 2006, contaminated lettuce in Taco Bell tacos sickened 71 people. And who could forget the video of a Taco Bell employee licking a stack of taco shells that went viral in 2013? The company said those shells weren't served to customers, but the image was so gross it seared into our brains. From metal-tainted meat to mystery meat, Taco Bell continually reminds us that cheap tacos can come at a steep price. Customer complaints often mention finding strange objects in their food, everything from plastic to screws. It's as if Taco Bell's quality control is non-existent. The company motto is Live Más, but if they keep this up, customers might end up living menos years thanks to broken teeth, high blood pressure, or food poisoning. Think outside the bun. How about think outside this restaurant? Your cravings aren't worth the risk. 6. Chipotle. Fresh food, fresh hell. Chipotle was once the golden child of fast casual, bragging about fresh ingredients and food with integrity. But that halo got completely tarnished by a series of stomach-churning disease outbreaks and corporate misconduct. The burrito bowl you adore. It might come with a side of norovirus, E. coli, and a $25 million federal fine, the largest food safety fine ever in the U.S. Why? Because Chipotle's food made over 1,100 people sick across multiple outbreaks from 2015 to 2018. Let that sink in. 1,000+ customers suffering explosive diarrhea, vomiting, and worse because Chipotle couldn't keep its food safe. The Justice Department charged Chipotle with crimes for serving contaminated food, and the company had to pay up and agree to stringent oversight. It's literally a criminal act to give this many people food poisoning, and Chipotle earned that dubious honor. The horror stories are plentiful. In one infamous case, a Chipotle in Boston in 2015 caused a norovirus outbreak. A sick employee kept working, and hundreds of college students yacked their guts out for days. In 2018, a Chipotle in Ohio left about 700 people violently ill with Clostridium perfringens, a food poisoning bacteria, because food was time-temperature abused. These outbreaks happened over and over like a broken record of projectile vomit. Chipotle's CEO at the time stepped down, and the company scrambled to overhaul food safety, but consumer trust was shattered. Crowds vanished. The stock plunged. Once known for long lines out the door, Chipotle became known for making America puke. Chipotle's problems don't end with germs. This chain has been busted for exploiting workers too. In 2020, Chipotle had to pay $1.3 million in fines for an astonishing 13,253 child labor violations in Massachusetts. They had teenagers working past midnight, exceeding daily hour limits, and even children as young as 14 and 15 working past 11 p.m. on school nights. In New Jersey, Chipotle was nailed again, a $7.75 million settlement for over 30,000 labor violations like underage kids working too long. It seems this company's integrity stops at the corporate office door because they were perfectly fine wringing profit out of minors breaking labor laws. Food with integrity. How about food with illegal labor? Let's not forget nutrition. Chipotle markets itself as a healthy alternative, and while you can get a reasonable meal there, most people load up a burrito the size of a newborn baby. That tortilla alone is 300 calories, then add rice, cheese, sour cream, guac. You're easily looking at a 1,200-calorie gut bomb with enough sodium for 2 days. And did you think that because it's fresh, it's safe? Ask the dozens of people who came down with hepatitis A from a Chipotle in Virginia, or the ones who got sick from metal shards in their barbacoa. Yep, that happened in 2018. Chipotle's shine is gone. Now it's a cautionary tale. All the trendy vibes in the world don't matter if your carnitas could kill us. The chain claims it's learned its lesson, but new food poisoning incidents still pop up occasionally, and insiders whisper that the pressure to crank out burritos fast still leads to corners being cut. If you value your health, you might want to take a breather from Chipotle. Those cilantro lime bowls aren't worth spending a week in the bathroom or supporting a company with such a rap sheet. Chipotle was once the future of fast food. Now it's a fresh kind of hell. 5. Popeyes. Popeyes became a viral sensation in 2019 with its chicken sandwich, but the insane hype unveiled the chain's dark side, one filled with violence, vermin, and vicious customer fights. The Popeyes chicken sandwich wasn't just popular, it was deadly. In November 2019, at the height of the sandwich craze, a man in Maryland was stabbed to death in a Popeyes after an argument over cutting in line for the sandwich. Let that sink in. A person was killed over a fried chicken sandwich. All across America, as lines wrapped around the block, brawls and beatdowns erupted in Popeyes lobbies. There were videos of employees body-slamming customers fighting each other, even one of a group of employees trading blows in the kitchen. It was total chaos, as if Popeyes unlocked some primal violence in people. The company offered no real plan to control the crowds beyond, "We're bringing the sandwich back, please be patient." Patience. Tell that to the man who lost his life over a $3.99 sandwich. When the restaurants aren't war zones, they might be biohazards. Case in point, a Popeyes in Washington, D.C. became internet famous for all the wrong reasons when a viral TikTok video exposed a rat infestation in its kitchen. A delivery man filming after hours flipped on the lights and dozens of rats were seen swarming the kitchen, climbing the walls and crawling over food surfaces. People's favorite fried chicken joint looked more like a scene from Ratatouille, except absolutely horrifying. D.C. health inspectors swooped in and shut that Popeyes down after citing a whopping 17 health code violations, including openings in the walls where rodents could enter and droppings everywhere. The franchisee got the boot. Popeyes corporate terminated their agreement, but the damage was done. Millions saw that video and probably swore off fast food fried chicken for a while. It wasn't even just that location. The fact it got that bad suggests a broader neglect. How many other Popeyes kitchens might have a few furry friends hiding? Considering not long after, another Popeyes, this time in Philadelphia, had video emerge of cockroaches running through the biscuit warmer, it's not an isolated issue. Gross, gross, gross. Even when pests or violent guests aren't the issue, Popeyes finds ways to court controversy. They ran out of chicken sandwiches during the initial launch, spawning a black market for sandwiches and that aforementioned violence. One irate Tennessee man even sued Popeyes for false advertising when he couldn't get a sandwich, claiming the wild goose chase wasted his time and gas. It's ridiculous, sure, but it shows how Popeyes' poor planning literally became a legal matter. The chain also caught flack for an underhanded marketing move. When they did restock the sandwich, they hired people directly off the street to work in kitchens to meet demand, raising questions about food safety training. Remember those outbreaks we discussed for other chains? Popeyes was tempting fate. Nutritionally, Popeyes will blast your blood pressure to Jupiter. The famed sandwich clocks in at 700 calories and 42 grams of fat with nearly 1,500 milligrams of sodium for one sandwich. Their fried chicken tenders, biscuits, and sides like Cajun fries make for a delicious but deadly combo of grease and salt. You can easily consume a full day's calories in one meal at Popeyes and wash it down with extra sugar. Their lemonade is super sweet. It's Southern comfort with a side of cardiac arrest. Popeyes might serve some of the tastiest fried chicken around, but beneath that crispy coating is a chain in turmoil. Filthy conditions, a magnet for violence, and calorie bombs galore. That's Popeyes in 2025. The next time you get a craving for that spicy chicken, remember the image of rats dancing on the fryer and maybe cook yourself a meal at home. No sandwich, no matter how good, is worth risking your safety and health. Popeye's slogan is, "Love that chicken," but right now it's hard to love anything about what's happening at this chain. Eat there at your own peril. 4. Subway. Eat fresh? More like eat filth. Subway used to pitch itself as the healthy fast food, the place where you could eat fresh. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. In 2025, Subway is a shell of its former self, closing thousands of stores and drowning in controversies about what's actually in its food. Let's start with the closures. Subway isn't just shrinking, it's in a full-on collapse. In just a 3-year span, over 4,700 Subway locations vanished, a net loss of about 15% of all their stores. It turns out that when customers realize your food is gross and your brand can't be trusted, they simply stop coming. Franchise owners bailed left and right, often citing declining sales and corporate mismanagement. Subway went from the world's largest restaurant chain to the butt of jokes in record time. Why? Because nothing at Subway is as it seems. That fresh-baked bread smell that hits you when you walk in? It's hiding some nasty secrets. In fact, Subway's bread was legally declared too sugary to be called bread in Ireland. The dough has so much sugar, it's basically cake. The Irish Supreme Court found Subway's rolls were about 10% sugar by weight, 5 times over the legal limit for bread. So yeah, that whole wheat loaf? It's a dessert masquerading as bread, spiking your insulin with every bite. And remember the infamous yoga mat chemical incident? A few years back, Subway got caught using azotocarbonamide, a chemical used in yoga mats and shoe rubber, in its bread to condition the dough. Public outrage ensued and they removed it, but the damage was done. Subway's bread is a frankenfood. Even the size of the bread was a lie. They were sued because the footlong often came up short at 11 inches. Subway had to settle and promise to at least give you the full foot of bread you paid for. Such integrity. But wait, it gets worse. How about the great tuna scandal? Subway's tuna salad became the subject of a viral lawsuit when a customer claimed there's no actual tuna in it, alleging that lab tests found no identifiable tuna DNA in Subway's tuna sub. The lawsuit went on to say what was present was a mixture of other fish species and animal proteins like chicken, pork, and cattle in the so-called tuna. In other words, mystery meat mush slapped between bread. Subway vehemently denied this. 100% real tuna, they swear, and the suit was eventually dismissed, but not before the New York Times ran tests finding no tuna DNA either. Millions of people were left gagging, wondering if that tuna sandwich they ate was a total fraud. True or not, the idea stuck in the public's head that Subway's food is basically fake garbage. Health inspectors haven't been kind to Subway either. Across the country, there are reports of Subway shops with slimy prep areas, rotten veggies, and flies buzzing around the food. A random inspection might find moldy spinach in the bin or employees without gloves handling your turkey. Eat Fresh seems to apply only to their marketing, not the reality in many locations. Customers, too, have blasted Subway on social media for downright gross experiences, from finding a tooth in a sandwich to being served a sub with dirt on the lettuce. Subway's once sterling image as the healthy alternative was an illusion. In practice, many stores are just as nasty as any greasy burger joint, if not worse. The company's also had its share of financial and legal scandals. It had a longtime spokesman, Jared Fogle, who turned out to be a literal pedophile, a ghastly chapter that Subway would like everyone to forget. They've been accused of sketchy practices toward franchisees, basically squeezing store owners dry with high fees and forcing them to sell footlongs for $5 even when it's unprofitable. Morale among owners has been in the toilet, and thousands of Subway's closing shows many just gave up. Subway's founding family even sold the company off in 2023 to a private equity firm, essentially throwing in the towel on fixing this mess. Let's be real. Subway is a disaster. When your bread isn't bread, your tuna might not be tuna. Your former mascot is a convicted predator, and your stores are closing everywhere. You've earned a spot on this list. The next time you think about getting a $5 footlong for old time's sake, consider that even Ireland says it's actually cake, and maybe choose a place where fresh isn't just a marketing lie. Subway's food and reputation have spoiled beyond saving. Consume at your own risk. 3. Burger King. Burger King once proudly rivaled McDonald's, but in 2025 the king has lost his crown, and what's left is a rotting, rat-infested remnant of a fast food empire. This chain is in free fall, mired in disgusting health violations, customer outrage, and financial freefall. Where do we even start? How about with rats crawling over the Whopper buns? Yes, that happened. On multiple occasions, Burger King restaurants have been caught with rodent infestations that would make you vomit. One viral incident in 2018 showed a Burger King in Texas literally overrun with rats. A video showed rodents scampering inside bags of hamburger buns, leaving droppings where your food is prepared. The kitchen was so filthy that Burger King's parent company sued that franchise owner to shut down his stores, citing reckless disregard for health and claiming it wasn't an isolated incident. In Delaware, another BK had to be temporarily shut down in 2020 after a customer's video of mice in the bun bags went viral, confirming everyone's worst fears. Think about that the next time you consider a Whopper. There's a chance some patties have been nibbled by rats or seasoned with mouse turds. Absolutely revolting. Even when there aren't literal rodents, many Burger King locations are just plain nasty. Customers routinely complain about dirty dining rooms, sticky tables, foul odors, and staff that couldn't care less. Ever gotten a BK burger that tasted a little off? Perhaps it's because some stores have been caught serving expired food or storing ingredients at unsafe temperatures. Health inspectors from Louisiana to Oregon have slapped BKs with citations for everything from mold in the ice machine to raw sewage backups. One former employee's story spread online about maggots in the soda fountain drip tray. True or not, it's believable at Burger King, and that says a lot. Burger King's customer satisfaction has plunged so low that in a national survey it ranked near the bottom of all fast food chains. People complain of greasy, poorly made food, missing ingredients, and insanely slow service. And how has BK responded? Not well. The company has been closing hundreds of stores as its franchisees go bankrupt. In 2023 alone, BK's CEO acknowledged they will close 300 to 400 locations because so many are older and lower performing. That's on top of the steady decline during COVID. When a chain plans to axe nearly 10% of its restaurants in 1 year, you know something is fundamentally broken. Those golden arches down the street are absolutely eating the king's lunch. Speaking of lunch, if the rats don't scare you, maybe the nutrition will. Burger King concocts some of the unhealthiest burgers in the biz. Take the Triple Stacker King. Nearly 1,370 calories and a jaw-dropping 93 grams of fat in one burger. That one sandwich alone is like swallowing 3 sticks of butter. Add a large fries and Coke and you're pushing 2,000 calories at one sitting, which is ridiculous. They once did an angriest Whopper with a red bun dyed with hot sauce. Well, the only thing angry will be your arteries after processing that monstrosity. Let's not forget BK's contribution to False Advertising Hall of Fame, the Whopper that looks huge in ads but tiny in reality. Customers finally got fed up and launched a class action lawsuit accusing BK of exaggerating the Whopper's size by 35% in marketing images. A judge actually ruled in 2023 that Burger King must face the lawsuit for essentially lying to our faces. So Burger King might end up in court defending why its signature burger is more air than beef. Embarrassing. From a brand once known for flame-broiled quality, Burger King has become synonymous with failure and funk. Financially, they're struggling. Major franchise operators declaring bankruptcy, stores in disrepair, and desperate $400 million Reclaim the Flame turnaround plans that so far haven't fixed the fundamentals. It's as if management fiddles while Rome burns, rolling out weird gimmicks. Remember the black Halloween Whopper that turned people's poop green? Classic BK move. Instead of cleaning the damn kitchens and making sure customers don't get served a side of rat poop. Burger King is a textbook example of how to destroy a fast food chain. Neglect cleanliness, anger your customers, serve unhealthy slop, and then close stores in droves when the profits vanish. The king has become a pauper. If you value your health and your appetite, you might want to abdicate your loyalty to this failing burger monarch. There are plenty of better options. ones that hopefully won't serve you a burger that a rat has crawled across. Burger King's throne has rotten legs, and it's only a matter of time before it collapses completely. Second, McDonald's. McDonald's is the biggest name in fast food, and it's also one of the biggest offenders when it comes to serving up controversies and caloric crap. Sure, they feed tens of millions daily, but behind those shiny golden arches is a dark world of filthy conditions, exploited workers, and health nightmares that will make you think twice about your next Big Mac. Let's start in the kitchen, specifically a McDonald's in Oakland that made headlines in 2024 for a full-on rat infestation. Workers there blew the whistle, walking out on strike because management ignored the problem for nearly a year. These employees described a stomach-turning scene. We see rats in the kitchen every day, rats at the grill nibbling on the hamburger buns and bacon, and rat droppings next to the Big Macs and nuggets. Just imagine, you order a Big Mac and it's been sampled by a rodent before it reaches you. Health inspectors shut that location down after finding a dead rat in the kitchen and droppings all over food areas. Even worse, workers claimed they were threatened with firing if they took pictures or reported it. McDonald's corporate eventually had to sanitize and reopen, but the damage is done. Literal rats feasting on McDonald's burgers is now a documented reality. And it's not an isolated case. McDonald's joints from New York City to rural America have had their share of nasty violations. Moldy ice cream machines, a former worker's viral photos of the slime inside McD's ice cream machine still haunt everyone. Bathrooms with no running water, food left out for hours. There's a reason the joke McDonald's, over 1 billion served, and I don't mean customers, I mean cockroaches, exists. For a company with virtually unlimited resources, you'd think they'd keep their stores vermin-free, but no, franchises often cut corners and customers pay the price. McDonald's treatment of its human resources is just as appalling. In 2023, a federal investigation revealed that at least 3 McDonald's franchisees were illegally using child labor, including 2 10-year-old children working the drive-thru and frying foods until 2 a.m. in Kentucky. Yes, you read that right. 10-year-olds unpaid handling deep fryers, which is not only morally repugnant but blatantly illegal. Fryers are explicitly off-limits for workers under 16. Over 300 minors were found working past legal hours or in hazardous roles at McDonald's restaurants in that investigation alone. What was this, Dickensian London? The franchisees got fined and McDonald's tried to distance itself, but the pattern is clear. Labor laws be damned, some MacDs will work kids if they can get away with it to flip a few more burgers. This came after years of McDonald's being called out for low wages and union busting. It's as if they thought, how can we make this worse? I know, hire 5th graders for the late shift. Shameful. Now, about those burgers and fries millions gorge on daily, they are straight-up health hazards. McDonald's is the poster child for the obesity epidemic. A Big Mac with medium fries and a medium Coke is over 1,100 calories in one meal, nearly half the recommended daily intake for an adult in a few minutes of chomping. It's laden with fat, sugar, and sodium, truly a nutritional disaster. The documentary Super Size Me infamously showed a man's health spiral after eating McDonald's for 30 days, underlining just how toxic a steady McDiet can be. He developed fatty liver disease and chest pains, and McDonald's spent years pushing super-sized portions that could feed a small family as one person's combo meal. They only dropped it when bad PR hit, not out of concern for health. Even today, McDonald's most shamelessly markets to children Happy Meals with toys, trying to hook kids on junk early. The result? Generations of addicted customers and expanding waistlines. Don't forget the infamous McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit, often retold as a joke, but it was quite serious. McDonald's kept its coffee scalding hot, 180+ degrees Fahrenheit, and it severely burned a 79-year-old woman, causing third-degree burns on her groin. She needed skin grafts, yet McDonald's fought her tooth and nail until a jury awarded punitive damages for the outrageous neglect. That was decades ago, but McDonald's still struggles with basic safety. Even today, people occasionally get burned by overheated pies or beverages. It's like McD's only fixes things after someone ends up in the hospital or court. The corporate culture has been scandal-ridden too, from a CEO fired for an inappropriate relationship to allegations of racial discrimination by black franchisees who say McDonald's steered them to less profitable locations. In 2021, McDonald's had to pay $33.5 million to a black franchisee who alleged years of such discrimination. And numerous sexual harassment cases have been filed by McDonald's workers alleging a toxic work environment with little support from management. Under those arches, workers are often treated as disposable as the paper wrappers. McDonald's might be everywhere and convenient, but behind the smiley clown mascot is a machine that grinds up human dignity and public health for profit. Sure, they'll advertise salads or apple slices occasionally to look better, but at the end of the day, their top sellers are the Big Macs, fries, McNuggets, all ultra-processed junk. And based on what we've seen, sometimes those nuggets might have an extra crunch from a cockroach, or that Big Mac might come with a side of rat droppings if you're unlucky. Is this where you want to eat? The next time you get in line at McDonald's, remember, you could be supporting a system that literally had 10-year-olds frying fries at midnight and rats running over the burger buns. Maybe it's time to drive past the drive-thru. McDonald's might be king of fast food, but it's also king of fast food horror stories, and for that it earns its notorious spot near the top of this worst list. 1. KFC, Kentucky. Fried catastrophe. Kentucky Fried Chicken, an American icon famous for that secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices. Well, guess what? No amount of herbs and spices can cover up the putrid reality of what KFC has become. The Colonel's empire is now often ranked as the worst fast food chain in America by customers themselves, and it's not hard to see why. KFC has managed to anger and disgust people on every front. Nasty restaurant conditions, awful service, shocking nutritional bombs, and a trail of scandals as long as a drive-through line at dinner time. Let's start with what customers are saying. In a nationwide survey of fast food lovers, KFC scored a miserable 2.89 out of 5, the lowest average of any major chain. In several states like Arkansas and Idaho, people rated it barely 2.5, basically a failing grade. The complaints? Greasy, gross food, chicken that's more batter than meat, restaurants that are filthy, and service slower than a snail. Many described rude or apathetic staff and frequent mistakes with orders. Some said they waited 30 minutes only to get subpar cold chicken. The phrase, very poor management attitude, comes up a lot. This is not a few angry folks, it's a pattern across the country. KFC's reputation with the public is in the toilet, and honestly, KFC put itself there. Exhibit A, cleanliness, or lack thereof. KFC/Taco Bell combo restaurants have made grotesque headlines for failing health inspections spectacularly. One KFC in Greenfield, MA was shut down on the spot in 2023 after inspectors found about 30 health violations in one go. The laundry list included thick grease caked on the floor under fryers, cockroaches skittering around, sticky sludge on the dining area floors, expired raw chicken and mac and cheese sitting out, dishes in the walk-in fridge covered in stagnant meat juice, no soap or paper towels for employees to even wash their hands. It was a house of horrors. The smell alone must have been rank. The local health director noted they arrived right when the store opened, meaning it had been left disgusting from the night before. This particular KFC was so bad it stayed closed for weeks. And don't think it's a one-off. There are stories of KFCs with dead mice in traps by the fryer, flies all over the coleslaw, employees not wearing gloves or hairnets, mold in the ice machine, you name it. One UK KFC was fined $1 million for a horrifying mice infestation a few years back. That could easily happen here if standards slip any further. It's painfully clear that some KFC locations are basically grease-coated germ factories. Now, about that famous chicken, it might taste good on a good day, but it's wreaking havoc on your body. KFC's menu is a parade of heart-stopping foods. Consider the KFC Double Down, recently resurrected. It's a sandwich with no bun, just 2 deep-fried chicken fillets holding bacon, cheese, and sauce. It clocks in at 950 calories with 60 grams of fat and over 1,900 milligrams of sodium for one sandwich. That's nearly a full day's salt and almost half your day's calories in something you can inhale in 5 minutes. And who eats KFC without sides? The mashed potatoes, biscuits, mac and cheese all pile on more carbs and salt. A typical KFC combo easily shoots past 1,200 to 1,500 calories. Regularly eating this stuff sets you up for obesity, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. KFC is so bad for you that in 2006, a health advocacy group sued them for cooking with trans fats. At the time, KFC's chicken was loaded with trans fat oil. KFC eventually phased it out under pressure, but only after potentially contributing to who knows how many heart issues. The gravy they serve might as well be labeled liquid salt. And the famous extra crispy batter? It's like eating deep-fried pure fat. Tasty, perhaps. Deadly, absolutely. KFC has had its share of scandals and blunders, too. There was the time they ran a promotional message in Germany on the anniversary of Kristallnacht, a Nazi atrocity, suggesting people commemorate it with KFC cheesy chicken, a horrifying algorithmic marketing fail that caused global outrage. They apologized, but yikes. Or that urban legend that their chicken wasn't real chickens. While false, the fact it was so widespread hurt KFC's image. People joked KFC stood for kitchen fried cruelty. Speaking of cruelty, PETA campaigned hard against KFC for years, accusing them of sourcing from suppliers that abuse chickens, like scalding birds alive or breaking their wings. The cruelty claims got graphic enough to turn many people off KFC for good. KFC tried to counter with animal welfare pledges, but skepticism remains. Financially, KFC in the U.S. has been waning. Many KFCs in the U.S. have closed over the past decade as customers flock to competitors like Chick-fil-A or Popeyes for chicken sandwiches. In the customer satisfaction rankings, Chick-fil-A sits at the top while KFC languishes at the bottom. KFC seems out of touch. Their answer to the chicken sandwich wars was too little, too late. Many remaining KFCs look outdated and understaffed, compounding the service and cleanliness issues. It's almost tragic how far KFC has fallen. This is a brand that's been around forever, yet it now inspires revulsion more than nostalgia. When even fast food lovers vote you the worst of the worst, it's time to shape up or close up. For now, KFC earns the #1 spot on the wall of shame. If you value your health, your sanity, and your stomach, you might want to skip the Colonel's secret recipe. It might come with secret ingredients like rodent droppings, bacteria, and enough calories to knock out an elephant. These chains top our list of the worst for a reason. They've served up mice, metal, manure, and misery alongside their meals. It's not fun and games to call out these issues. It's a matter of public health and basic decency. The next time you're hungry and in a hurry, think twice about the true cost of that cheap fast food fix. These companies have shown you what can lurk behind the counter: filth, dishonesty, negligence, and a blatant disregard for your well-being. Don't give them your money until they clean up their act, literally and figuratively.